Junkyard Dog here, and welcome back. Today is part 3 of Zeek. And what we're going to be putting in today are these non-brand speed controllers. You have a battery in, a motor out, and your signal and a switch. Now I'm pretty sure these have the brake. They have forward and reverse, but you got to double pump it because of the brake. But these are not the permanent speed controllers for Zeek. We just want to see how fast he's going to be and get him mobile. And then we're going to put a wedge on him coming up. So let's get into that. Okay, so the first order of business is we're going to pull these motors out just so we can put our leads on there. We need to put wires on all four. And we have this little automotive wire here that I have a big collection of just to make our positive and negative leads. We're going to do that first.
I'll make you move like your boots are on fire. I'll make you jump like you touch a live wire. Ain't no sitting down when I get in the zone. Just give me my crown, let the king take his throne.
Okay, so we have all the motor wires soldered on, and we also have the motors reinstalled in the chassis. So up next, we're going to go ahead and get the speed controllers in. This is what they look like right here. You have the battery in and the motor out. We're going to cut the clips off because I just solder everything direct. I don't like connectors because connectors fail and come apart. That's going to be the next thing we do. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not on camera, but I know which is the motor driver because the motor's in the center. Because it's unmarked. On the outside you have a positive sign and a negative sign to let me know that's the battery inputs. Okay, so the way I'm going to do this is on one side I'm going to connect, of course, when I connect these wires, it'll be positive, positive, negative, negative. This will be a unit, this will be a unit. And then what I'll do is on one side I'll connect the reds to the reds, the blacks to the blacks. On the other side I'll connect the blacks to the reds and the reds to the blacks. Because I want both speed controls oriented the same way, to where when I double pump it forward, they both go forward, and when I pull back, they both go back. If you have them opposite of each other, every time you try to double pump it, one of them will switch instantly and the other one won't, so you'll always be twisting. So you want to have your speed controllers basically oriented the same, connected the same way. And since they're driving opposite directions, that's the point of reversing one side. So let's go ahead and get these installed. Okay, so you can see I have the two speed controllers installed now, and on this side I have positive tied to the red positive on the speed controller, and negative tied to the negative on the speed controller. On the other side On the motors, I have negative to negative and positive to positive, but when it comes up to the speed controller, I connect the positive side to the negative and the negative side to the positive of the motors. And the reason why that's important is when they both receive the forward signal, they'll both spin the same direction. If I had all positives together and all negatives together on this side, when I hit forward, it would do a donut and I would have to go in the radio and reverse a channel, which gives you that mess up on the brake. When you're using these cheap ones especially, you don't want to have to reverse the channels. You want both channels going the same direction so you have a consistent drive. So what we're going to do next is protect these ends and get them all taped up, and then we're going to take the battery inputs and we're going to tie these together and put a connector on there so we'll be able to send power to it. And then the next thing will be getting a radio installed in here so we can test drive it.
You just need to find your way. All your things is in my place. I'm gonna throw them out today. I just need to keep my space. You just need to find your way. All the tears you throw my way, I don't wanna see your face. No more, no more, no more, no more, no more, no more, no more.
Now the polarity of the battery is a given. There's no flexing on that, no reversing anything. So be very careful.
Blessings accrue, ain't who you talking to. Just know I ain't no regular fool. Could be anything in the world, but I can never be you because I stand tall like I'm on my tiptoes. Baby, you think a little too small. I got big goals, baby. Ain't where the money at. Look, I just need the info. Pronto, I go and get it and split it with my kinfolk daily. And I'm the type of that might change my number on you. Yeah, that's how you react when people took a slumber on you. Pretty brown skin, baby, I can see the summer on you. You see all the bread, and I know it make you wonder, don't you, don't you, don't you? Ooh, I ain't surprised at all. Seen them rise and fall. Went up the mountain, it wasn't hard to climb at all. At the top, I found some relief. I finally got some peace. Carry on, but please don't mess up the mood. Yeah, I worked too hard for it. No, I need to beat it, before you mess up the mood. Yeah, ooh, I worked too hard for it, and I need it, so please don't mess up the mood. Don't mess up the mood. Don't mess up the mood. Yeah, I work too hard for it. Yeah, don't mess up the mood. Oh, it's so crucial, I gotta keep it. It's in the ass everywhere. No, it's not a secret, and
Okay, so you can see that we now have all 4 motors wired up. We have both speed controllers wired up. Before I send this into battle though, you see that they have on-off switches. For these speed controllers, these switches will be gone. I'll either cut these wires, twist them and solder them, or I will join that solder connection back here to where they're always on. And then I'll have to put a break in this cable to install the safety switch. But for testing, this is going to be just fine. So let's get a battery and a radio and get this hooked up, and we'll see if we have anything. And here is the receiver. It's going to be a Fly Sky, which is quite common, the old IA6. And we're just going to use channel 1 and channel 2. No weapon here, so no need for a third. And now we just need a battery. I see something blinking. Okay, so they were both already on. Now we just need batteries for the controller. Okay, so we have a transmitter, we have a receiver, and we have a battery. Let's turn it all on. There we go. Is it already bound? Oh goodness. So we have drive. Of course, this is not set up. This is only activating one side, and then this is activating the other side. When I was talking earlier about the braking, I know you really can't see this. Let me slide a hub on there real fast. We'll tilt this up towards the camera. So you can see it's spinning when I hit. When I go back the other way, it just brakes the motor, so I have to let off, come back to neutral, and then reverse. But then I can go immediately back to the right. But if I try to go back, then I gotta double pump it. And that's just because it's set up for remote control cars. And that's why I reversed the orientation on both, because if I had, say if I was going forward and then I went to reverse and this side went to instant reverse, but this other side had the brake, well then you're just going to spin instead of backing up. That's why it's really important that you have your speed controllers orientated the same way. So when you go from forward to reverse, it goes instant, then when you go back to go forward, you just double pump it. And that's how I get away with using cheaper ESCs, to where when you use things like the FingerTech, like the tiny ESCs, you don't have to worry about that. They're always just forward, back, forward, back. But those are $30 ESCs, and you can get these, I think, for like 12 bucks. I'm gonna have to double check that, but I will link these down below. So now that's just the basic wiring. We now have a functioning robot somewhat. We need to set up the channels on the radio, and this is going to be the end of part 3 for Zeek. Okay, so now as you can see, Zeek has drive. It's not functioning drive yet because I still have to set up this brand new radio or transmitter to have the mixes right, to where when I push one stick forward, the tank style steering. You know, one stick's forward, one stick's reverse. So that's just the way I set mine up. I think most people do. The way I run this is forward, reverse, right, and left, and then this is just for weapon only. The throttle stick is for weapon. So you have to set up your aileron and elevator mixes the proper way to orientate your motors. This is going to be the end of part 3, wiring Zeek. Part 4 is going to be installing the wedge and doing a test drive. Team Junkyard Dog, we're out.